When I lived in the rainforest for many years, whenever we drive through the creek to go out of the property, we'd lose our brakes. So I got used to driving with my clutch. So I'd slow down using my clutch. Meanwhile, I'd be pumping my brakes because sometimes it would take half an hour before I had proper brakes again. I just got used to driving like that. So let's fast forward to, where are we, 25 years later, and we mostly have automatic cars, but my husband recently bought a car that was gears. And when I started driving it, you know the pathways we have in our brain, we're going to look at this on Saturday morning, I just flipped back into my old way of round the corner, I'd use gears. And when I was slowing down, I'd use my gears. So my left leg is getting a lot of use, especially because this was a four-wheel drive. It was sort of and I'm just a little lady, so it took a lot of strength. After 2 weeks, my leg began to hurt from my knee down, and I thought, well, I've just overdone it. And I've just overdone it, and my leg is not used to it. So I went over to the automatic car again. A month later, my leg is still sore. Now, when it's still sore, you got to put your detective hat on and go a little bit further. So I saw my son, who is trained in remedial massage, and he's fairly brutal, is my son. He just tells me to breathe. It hurt. And he said, "Mum, you've had an old injury on this leg." And I had. And I remember 10 years ago, I was walking down steps, and I was talking as I was walking, and I tripped. And the point of the step, my shin went straight on it. It hurt. I put a poultice on it for a few days, and then that was enough, and I was fine. But I always had a little bit of a dent there, so I must have maybe dented the bone or something. I don't know. Never gave me a moment's trouble after that. And he picked up that an old injury, can you see we've got a few threads coming together? An old injury, overdoing the leg, and now I'm in pain. And he said, this has got a lot of scar tissue there, which I'd never had pain there. And Peter was brutal. And I decided to choose a gentler way to break up the scar tissue. So I made a castor oil compress. I probably made it half that size. And I bound it onto my leg, my shin area, down near my ankle. And I wore it 24/7. I wore it to bed. I wore it through the day. I just wore it. I think I wore it for a month. After a week, I went and let Peter do another session on me, and I'd forgotten how much it hurt. I didn't see him again. But the point of my story is I wore it 24/7 for a month, and I noticed no pain.